All right, guys, here we are. One day away from Zach Thomas getting his celebration in his year of induction in the Hall of Fame. When I was a kid, I guess it was my early 20s at this point. It seems like a kid. I had my Dolphins Digest, and all of a sudden I hear this guy, Zach Thomas, is starting. What? What's going on? So I look him up in the guide. We didn't have all the coverage we had today, and I saw his favorite movie was Braveheart. And at that point, it was like, we're soulmates. And Braveheart's one of my favorite movies of all time. It got surpassed by Rob Roy. Rob Roy's a better movie. You haven't seen it. But Braveheart's awesome, too. But it was a dark period. You know, it wasn't easy. Shula was gone. Jimmy Johnson came in. You felt like, oh man, this is going to be it. But Shula's gone. It's like my father just walked out of the house. And so Zach Thomas was the guy to really focus on. And, you know, you got Taylor, and obviously Marino was still there. And then Marino left, and then Jimmy left. And then you follow Zach through, and you just amazed at what this guy can do. He was just everything. He just didn't fit the bill. He was like an everyman. And the wait to see him get in there, it was like he's like my brother or something, and he's getting done wrong. It's so weird. So anyway, long story, he's getting a celebration, and I do my best to pull the fandom out. I try to be a reliable narrator, not a cheerleader for my viewers. But I find myself maybe being more fan this week than usual. And so I knew we were going to have a nuke job last week as soon as Connor was in. And I expected a nuke job this week. And I really wanted it more than anything. I do not want the Dolphins to lose on this day more than anything, you know. And, you know, the 72 and the Shula celebration stuff, obviously that's huge too. But we're here now. And so I kind of just dismissed this game pretty much in a lot of ways. And I don't think we can lose. I don't see how that's possible unless a calamity of errors happens. We had four turnovers, and 131-16. This team is so fast, it just obliterates these lesser teams. But somebody said, yesterday, Lucas, he's a really good commenter. He's like, well, I'm not used to this positivity from you. Because I was just like, this is going to be a nuke job. We won. Don't worry about it. And I had to think about that. And I always think about what comments people say. I always think about it. And so I woke up this morning and I said, you know, Derrick Brown's pretty good. And now we got Eichenberg at center. This thing could go really well. Eichenberg could step up and da-da-da-da. But when you look at Derrick Brown, Derrick Brown is like a man's man. He can run stop. He can pass rush. He's not the highest level of interior D lineman, but he could be in time. This guy is a stud. And so I want to cover a couple of things because I want to be fair to the viewers. I want to be a reliable narrator, and not to talk about this in real detail, I think it's not me being my best. So I'm wiped out. I did a lot of stuff this week. I got my coffee here. I'm probably going to drink some coffee. But we're going to win. I don't see how we can't. But this Derrick Brown on Wynn and on Eichenberg is going to be major evaluation, and it could cause some problems. We will see. I just don't see us losing, but I've got to bring it up there. Now, I really do try to keep my emotions out. And I saw how Watson is really struggling for a second year with health injuries. And I was one of the guys who said, this trade stuff for Tua in 21 for Watson is insane. We don't want this guy. And I'm happy to see it play out. I like Tua. I've always kind of supported him. I still don't think he's the greatest quarterback in the history of the quarterbacks. I think he's good. We'll see. Maybe we'll get there. But I always believe this guy could play out. I didn't like Watson. I didn't want Watson. And so now all the people saying Watson's a good idea, clearly it's not looking like a good idea. This is looking like a very huge disaster for the Browns. So that's good news. So I just want to put that out there. I was very happy. So I'm hoping this is good karma into this game. Ace Per Head's betting software is the premier white label platform for bookies to manage their players and grow their sportsbook operation. Click the link in the description below to get set up in minutes. Ask for the Curtis promo and get a special introductory discount. All right, guys, tonight, also, I want to give a shout out. Thanks for coming to the live last night. But also, I'm going to be doing at 6 p.m. tonight with the AFC East Shakedown. My man Tommy at Mafia Sports Report, Jedi Kev, Trevor and Juan. We're going to be all talking the AFC East, last week's games and this week's game. So please stop by. It was going to be a good time. These guys are great guys. I try to work around their awesomeness. So please check us out. And thanks for coming by to the live last night. I appreciate it. I'm still learning the live thing. It's pretty wild. Connor's not going to be in. Talk of Connor not being, the snaps being out. I think we all know how valuable it is, especially when he's paired up with Hunt. But we got this. You can see right here. A concern with Connor. The Miami Dolphins are taking a long view approach when it comes to their starting center, even if it means short-term sacrifices. Okay, why did he play against the Giants? You got a soft tissue injury with a groin, which can be devastating. I mean, that's your whole movement platform, your lateral, your forward, back. Everything is tied into that groin, those groin muscles. And so why did he play against the Giants? Well, I think he played against the Giants because they knew that Liam Eichenberg would be devoured by Lawrence and Williams. And so they understood that this could, look what Williams did to Achane. Could have been Tua, could have been somebody else. These guys are beasts, and Eichenberg couldn't handle him. Maybe this isn't the reason. Maybe they thought he could get through and it would be all right. But then to see him totally hobbled through the week, then they're saying they're taking a long-term view. If you were taking a long-term view, you would have sat him last week, you would have sat him this week and get him ready for that Eagles game. But the problem is, I don't think there's a lot of confidence for Eichenberg. Now, maybe I'm wrong. We'll see. So we need to find out more information, but we don't want to put him through the rigors of practice, McDaniel said on Connors. But we put him against the rigors of going against 340-pound Lawrence and 305-pound beast Williams in his pass rush. And now we're waiting. We just got to pray things go smooth this week and he's back against the Eagles. If we don't have Connor against the Eagles, guys, it's going to be very, very not pretty. Okay? Not crack core, dipped in acid, and then lit on fire, and then said, hey, let's go on a date. That's what it would look like. Okay, so on Connor, we made the decision for him to play last week. We knew there'd be residual effects from that. We knew that. That's why we were overly cautious about soft tissue injury stuff. That doesn't make any sense. The Giants, one of the worst teams in the league. Why did he play then if you knew there was going to be residuals? He won't practice today, but he'll be doing stuff with the trainers. We need to find out more info, but we don't want to put him through the rigors of an entire practice. The team will assess after Friday's plays out. So it played out, and they knew it wasn't good. But they knew there were going to be residuals from playing, so why did he play in a game against a terrible team that we were going to nuke job? I don't know exactly why, but I think it does revolve around Eichenberg versus Lawrence and Williams. We got here Eichenberg, who is diligent and studious, has been studying tape of centers with similar body types like Detroit's Frank Ragnow. Both Dolphins and Liam want this center thing to work out, obviously. Obviously, you take a guy who's never played center before in your peak talent season, you got a stud beside from the snapping in front of him, and you trade away the only veteran you have. Obviously, the Dolphins wanted to make it work. Obviously, Liam wants to make it work. But if he was so diligent and studious, do you think from last week to this week or the last 2 weeks that he's going to figure things out if he hasn't figured it out beforehand? Something does not make sense. It doesn't make sense. There's something going on here that's not like the train of thought of like we're trying to win. Maybe it'll work out. To me, I love Mike McDaniel for a lot of things. There's still things I'm uncertain. I got to see how it plays out. I mean, I like the funny guy stuff. I don't know if it's going to work out long term. We'll see. I like the ability to move guys. I think he does relate with the players. We'll see how it go through hard times. I love his ability to move personnel. He does have an aggressive approach. There's a lot of things to really like about this guy. But the sell job here, it's a tell. Liam Eichenberg did some really cool stuff at center in his first start against Buffalo week 4. I mean, that's trying to sell snow and hell. I think McDaniel, I understand what he's doing. I personally think, and I'll go back to the past, that Chris Grier has way more control than what the media likes to tell you, because there's no way Mike McDaniel in this critical season is going to want to go into Liam Eichenberg as his starting left guard, which flopped, as it's flopped everywhere else, and then trade away Feeney. Do you think he said trade away Feeney? Give me Liam Eichenberg? Give me a double dose of Eichenberg on Sunday. So then who's got the power? But we were told Chris Grier is a wet noodle and does what everybody wants. So at this stage, if it works out, great. Everybody's a genius. And that'd be awesome. That's the best thing. I want it to be a genius moment. I personally think Chris Grier has always had more control than people or the media wants to tell you. That doesn't mean Flores is the best guy ever and you're defending him and you don't like McDaniel. And it has nothing to do with that. We're trying to deal with reality. It's parsing up the facts. Somebody shipped out Flowers, the best lineman we had going into the 21 season, let Karras walk, who had like top 15 season with the Patriots, the position we needed Liam Eichenberg manned, or Jackson, I can't think. And then we go into the next season, and Jackson and Liam are the guys we pegged to be starters this year. And now, when it didn't work out at guard, and nobody could say it could, they fell back position to center. And who thought Connor would go down? But now that he's down, this has got to be a huge evaluation point. If everything works out, it is a genius moment. I said Chris Grier, Mike McDaniel, whoever you want to say is in charge, is going to be hailed as brilliant by this avant-garde approach on the offensive line. Or they're going to get to wear the dunce hat. So the Panthers game, we're going to win. We just got to pray Connor is in against the Eagles. I mean, all it takes is one play for Tua to get damaged, and it's not because he has an injury history. Any quarterback, any player. We lost Toronto over Eichenberg. We lost Connor Achan last week because Wynn got destroyed, and then Williams got down the line of scrimmage behind him. So these offensive linemen do more than just production. They protect the players. So if this works out, the genius train is definitely on track. But we've got to watch this. We're going to destroy them. I think the safeties they got that are out, they got some competent guys behind them. But come on. But all it takes is one play. And Wynn does not stack up well with Brown. And then you got Burns. It's not a good run stopper, but a good pass rusher. And then you got Eichenberg, who's completely overwhelmed by. Brown is 6'5", 320. This guy's a man times 2. And so I just want no one to get hurt on the Dolphins. I want to see Eichenberg play stellar, Wynn play stellar, and the offensive line play stellar. And I want Zach to be celebrated the way he should. But this is curious, guys, even for the people who are the most zealot of the Grier and McDaniel and Flores crew. This is just like weird, isn't it? Who wouldn't take a guy in this season with a quarterback who had all those concussions the year before in a zone stretch where the center is a premium? I talked about it in the live last night. Zone stretch demands a center. That is very, very, very good. This is why the Atlanta Falcons that ran a great zone stretch had Mack, and then San Fran got Mack over there. Center is key. When your center fails, it's totally different than inside zone. You can have better guards and tackles to uplift the center. It's not as critical. But in zone stretch, the center is maybe the most critical piece on the team. How do you go into it with Eichenberg like this? I don't know. We'll see. Let's hope it all works out. Let's hope it's all brilliant. We're going to win. Just let's hope. More than anything, even more than Zach winning, that next week Connor is able to play because that Eagles front is monstrous. Brown will be a great test. If Eichenberg studied up and he's shown to be the guy, man, we got some brilliant guys. Anyway, enjoy the game. Enjoy the celebration of Zach. I can't see any way we're not going to be a 5-1. And then get ready for that Eagles game. All right, guys. So thanks. I'm going to catch up with you later. Appreciate everything. Carson, catch you next time. Be well. I can't get my mug here this time. I got the coffee. I didn't even drink my coffee. I got so excited I forgot. Brain of a gnat. Carson, catch you next time. Be well. Go Fins. Start building your own online sportsbook today by getting signed up with aceperhead.com service that'll allow you to book action on sports from all around the world.